aliens are pretty scary. I think to a certain extent, like you, roaches scare me. They gross me out, but they don't terrify me. It's not a phobia. Don't think I have a phobia, but what I would think that my biggest fears are like losing control. Like the unknown is what freaks me out.
Yeah, like aliens.
Aliens are unknown,
Like,
but to a certain extent, I kind of, even though I don't, I feel like, oh, I already got that figured out because I know they're there or whatever. Sometimes I'll get sleep paralysis when I sleep, and that gets me fucking going because
that's the one thing I've never
being
understood.
awake, seeing and not being able to move, and then you start seeing things because I guess your brain is half dreaming, half awake. You start seeing, well, I start seeing like bad stuff,
But you see,
and then not being able to move,
that's scary. When
and then
you-
things walking toward you, and then sometimes they get on the bed.
So when you tell me that, for me, it's kind of like when someone tells me about the megalodon existing. Like, I don't believe it.
Mhm.
Because to me, it's like, that's so unreal. Like, I cannot picture something like that happening to me and then me waking up the next day and being okay.
Mhm.
I cannot believe it. I do not believe that happens to you while you're sleeping next to me.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to go grab like holy water, throw it at you. Because to me, it's like the scariest thing ever.
Like I fight it so hard to just, I can feel my arm like
Shut up.
moving a little bit to try to like wake you up so you can slap me or something.
Are you kidding me? And then when you're like,
And I cannot move my arm more than what I think is like a centimeter. I'm like, ugh. It's crazy. It feels like you're completely
that's
powerless.
the worst.
So that is something that freaks me out. I hate having those things.
How often do you have them? Like, have you even researched to see if that's normal?
Well,
I'm like, that's not normal.
it just so happens that when I went to my last eye doctor appointment,
Mm-hmm.
she told me that I was not closing my eyes completely while I was sleeping.
Okay.
So because my eyes are still partially open, my brain is still getting feedback from my eyes. So I'm half awake, half closed. Half awake, half dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So that information keeps feeding to the brain. So if I'm having like a nightmare that I would usually just like, fight out of,
Yeah.
my eyes are telling my brain, no, you're awake. So she told me, sleep with one of those things on your eyes. That's why I bought one.
Has it helped?
I haven't had one.
That's so weird. So it just has to do with your freaking eyes?
Everything has unless I start having them with the thing on, then I'll let you know. But I think everything has a rational explanation for the most part. So now that I've been, or sleeping on my chest, because usually my pillow will cover my eyes.
Uh-huh.
That I never have them like that either. It only happens when I'm sleeping face up, looking.
But that's weird that you would have a nightmare. Like, I honestly, it's so unusual for me to have a nightmare. It's so unusual. Like, I think I have a nightmare like twice a year, maybe at most, or just like a funky dream.
Well, you have, but think about it this way: you have dreams all the time. Sometimes
Yeah.
you forget them.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to remember the ones that are like either traumatic or extremely cool.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that whenever you get this horrible feeling that you can't move, it
Yeah,
links it
I would die
with
if I
something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? Is there something like stopping me from moving? And
Yeah.
that negativity, that negative energy keeps feeding your brain, and you start imagining other shit, and you start feeling things on the bed, and
I can't.
start seeing things walking toward you, and
That's horrible. I don't know how you can even like wake up the next day. I would be traumatized. I would be like, I can't. Like, I'm the biggest chicken, and I don't. That's the thing. Like, I've never really had a nightmare that would scare me to death.
I think I'm not really scared of ghosts or anything like that, because I feel like I've already faced those fears so many times in my dreams
Oh my god.
that if I, like when we had that thing about the doorbell,
Yeah.
although like yes, I got chills down my spine, whatever, I was like, you know, this is not as bad as having
Are you
that.
kidding me?
Yeah.
And you're not even vocal about that. I didn't know it was like such a big deal.
Well, it feels like that. I'm telling you, that feels like nothing else.
And I'm here sleeping next to you, like having cupcakes and rainbow trees.
Yeah, like seeing like a cloaked monster crawl on the bed while you're trying. You feel it. Well, I mean, that's just
my
me
God.
though.
It's like a movie.
That's me. Yeah, that's what I imagine while I'm sleeping. That's what I imagine while I'm sleeping. Other people might feel like there's roaches crawling on them. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see. That's the crazy part. Like, the roaches are just so scary. I remember being at the first time that I went to one of my friend's house in Juarez, right? And Juarez is like known for their sewer problem, Mexico. All Mexico. And I remember being like 8 years old. It was the first time spending the night with that friend. She was one of my best friends. And it was a family party outside, and the garage was like where everybody put tables and they hung out to have their carnes asadas and whatever. And there was like hundreds of flying roaches just flying back and forth nonstop. And it was a nice house. They were just roaches.
Yeah,
like
just
there's nothing to
outside.
do. And the doors were open from all over the house. So like the roaches were coming in. I couldn't even sit in the living room. Like I was terrified. I remember feeling so much like my mom was not gonna pick me up because I'm in Juarez. I'm in another country. It's late at night. I was gonna spend the night with my friend. Like I never thought that the first time I spent the night at my friend's house, the roaches were gonna completely ruin that whole night. I was like, nobody took me serious because to them it's like, Nina, why are you crying about a roach? Like calm down. I didn't want to look a sissy. I was like sitting on the couch. I would go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God. Like I was so scared, and I remember like praying to God, you see, to like please just make these roaches go away. Like I was so scared, and I didn't really know her family. She always spent the night at my house, so to me it was just like traumatic. And then with your grandma, can brothers consent?
I don't even feel like she's dead.
Yeah, because she's
Yeah.
still here. Oh, that don't scare me.
No, not like
Oh,
that.
like don't scare me. Have you seen it?
That's funny.
Well, I remember, like, why was there so many roaches in her entrance? Like, I would have preferred to get kidnapped
Yeah.
than to walk by. Why? Like, I don't get it. Why?
Because the houses, the way the sewage works in Mexico, they have, you know, the regular plumbing, and it all gets, and maybe it's not everywhere, but in
Certain areas.
most areas, it goes and it feeds to like this little mini septic tank that, I don't know what they call it, but I remember that it's got like two handles. It's a big concrete slab.
Oh my
Lift it up,
God.
and it prevents it from clogging the main lines of the city. Like if something was big enough that it would get trapped, it would get caught there.
Mhm.
So that's like a prime hangout spot for these things. It's humid, there's a whole bunch of crap.
But this, like, they were everywhere. Like, I remember, and I think, like, it was so traumatic that I don't remember, like, things with detail. I remember getting off of your truck and me thinking in my head, okay, I'm gonna make the best impression with your grandma. I'm gonna be super sweet. I literally see the dog sitting in the entrance of the garage, because, like, most of the houses you go in through the garage. And then I see roaches all over the floor, on the walls, on the roof, and I'm over here thinking, there is no mother effing way I can go in. And I remember your grandma just being like so confused, like, "Esta tonta aquí? Like, what's going on with her?" And then you're like, "I'll carry you," and I'm like, I can't. Like, they were up there. They were like, I was scared that one of them was gonna fly to me.
And what's funny is that you have like a radar for those things.
Yeah.
I might have seen like 2 or 3 on the floor, and I was like, fuck, I'll kill them, whatever.
There was like thousands.
But you have like a radar, you're like, there, bing, 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 bing.
No, dude, it was so crazy. Like, I can't even, and all the houses, obviously, like here, they have so much grass.